Hello everyone, today is December 30th. We got 2 days before New Year's, so Happy New Year's to all of you watching this presentation, our performance update. We got the agenda. Rob?
Yep.
So quickly,
hello everybody.
We're going to do an industry update, the ProFleet announcement, some leadership changes, mid-year performance, revised mid-year performance outlook, a safety update, investments in the facilities and equipment, and the awards and holiday gifts that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, a lot of stuff, huh? Let's get into it. Last time we talked was back in September with our annual results. So here we go. We'll get into it with looking at our industry. And boy, right now, it's a pretty turbulent time in our industry. Following the news, there's been fleet closures. There's been other trucking companies that have gone bankrupt and are otherwise closing their operations. 10 Roads for one, kind of close to a lot of us here in town. Others, and some of them just announced today, Queen Transportation, about 90 trucks. So basically, there's a lot of capacity in our industry, and some of that capacity really needs to get worked out, right, Al, so that the industry can get healthy and we can get some rates where us truckers can make a little bit better return on our investment. So that's happening. Spot rates right now are not at where they were 5 years ago. The 5-year average, they're well below. That's been a consistent trend. That's right here on this refrigerated van. You can see this dotted line is the 5-year average, and the bar actually represents what's happening here currently. So you can see we might have touched it here recently a little bit. So there is a little bit of hope, but we are going into the holidays, and right now spot rates are really going up due to some normal holiday seasonality, Al. So it's hard to get a read on exactly what's happening. There has been a contraction, this third bullet point here, in the U.S. manufacturing sector. It's been contracting kind of all year. So the supply of goods for us to move has also kind of contracted as an industry. So that's not helping our situation as an industry. And then, some spotty movement on these line haul rates. There is capacity leaving, capacity's leaving, but there's a little less freight to move as well, so it's hard to get a read on a lot of these things. And then the last bullet point down here is really this non-domiciled CDL issue that the government is working through. They have some direction on probably there's going to be less of these issued in the future. What's exactly going to happen with the folks that are here that have been working under that is a little uncertain. So how all that is playing out is still yet to be determined, right, Al?
Right on.
So a lot's going on in the industry. The next 6 months, I think, is going to be really interesting. We feel we're positioned pretty well for it, but it's really tough to get a read on exactly what's happening, right, Al?
Right.
We've been through a lot of these, and we feel like we're pretty confident in what we can do here to get through it, and Al's going to talk to that.
Yeah, so here's on our advantages we have by far is we're hauling food, retail products. This is almost a recessionary market we are in, that what we're hauling, like 10 Roads was hauling mail, and the mail industry has gone downhill ever since. So there's so many dynamics going on, but the fact that we're hauling food, beverages, items that need to be consumed every day, we're far better than all the other carriers in what's going on in this market, especially in this upper Midwest. Our strong relationship with Tyson, Conagra, Smithfield. There's a bid season approaching right now. Our experienced sales and management group, our logistics team for mixing with the spot market and the opportunities for committed for larger customers. So we've got a lot of good things going on that don't make me as fearful of the immediate future as some of these smaller carriers that we're seeing going out of business right now. But there's a lot more dynamics coming on that.
Yeah, and I want to highlight this bid season that's approaching. It's a really tricky time to do pricing. I mean, we're going to try to get some price increases where we feel that we can, but it's really tough because our customers are really pushing back on any kind of price increase right now. They've enjoyed some very low freight rates for a long time, and they want to keep them. And they're pushing back. So it's going to be tricky through this bid season. But yourself, Pat, you've been doing this a long time.
Scott, Nick,
right, Al?
everybody.
Scott, a lot of experienced people here involved, and we know our customers pretty well. So we really think we can navigate through that, and I feel confident in navigating through that as we move forward.
Yeah, I feel good about it. I really do.
Okay. I wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about ProFleet. We made an announcement in November. Always tough to make these kind of announcements, but we suspended operations for ProFleet after 3 years. I want to say, we're extremely proud of the team that was in place there, the leadership that Mitch had, and Bill running that team. There were a lot of good things that happened through ProFleet. We just ran into some government programs with all the things that were happening with our government, limiting some funding. Some of the organizations that we dealt with here locally had some of their own staff turnover. One of them changed contracts with some different people, and that really disrupted the flow of students to us. And furthermore, the future of that was pretty uncertain. So they had a tough summer, and in the CDL school business, summers where you need to make money.
Yep.
And we had a tough summer because of some of those things, and just the outlook for that didn't look so great. We had some difficulties getting in with the Veterans Administration, difficulties diversifying away from some of these public places to find cash payers for the schools. So all those things kind of led us to reassessing that school and deciding that rather than continuing to fight that battle, we'd be better off kind of culling that a little bit and focusing on our core operations. So that's really what led to that decision. But some great things came out of that. Mm-hmm. We educated some students from the Lincoln Correctional Facility. We had a great relationship there, got some terrific public relations. So a lot of good things came of that. And the school set out to deliver the best CDL education in the state of Nebraska. And I really feel that we did that, Al.
Yeah, I do. And once again, we suspended it. We didn't close it. And we were going to keep our license. And we're going to see how this market plays out. So who knows what could happen the next year. But that's why we use the word suspended operations.
Yep.
With that said,
yep. All right.
You want to talk about leadership?
Yeah, we're going to move on to some leadership challenges or some changes that have happened. So we've had a few executives leave through various different reasons. Our CFO left to pursue another opportunity and to get closer to where she wants to retire. Mm-hmm. So that was going on. Raul Soria, who's been a fixture here at Hill Brothers for a long, long time as our safety director, for his own career advancement, he's now in California with a larger carrier, expanding his skill sets. So that's really what that was about. And I know that was a tough decision for Raul to make. He's been here a long time. So those people move on, and we're reloading with some new folks. Randy Doffner's here, and as it turns out, she came from 10 Roads. So that's where some of these things that play out in the industry can actually help us. Randy was at 10 Roads, a little uncertain about what their future was. She's come over to help us out. Ryan Hill is moving into the Director of Operations for the truck line, reporting to myself. Andy, our corporate controller, is going to expand his role, reporting to me. Cami Bruner, who's led our truck line operations for a number of years, she's going to move to an IT-related role where she's really going to work with projects and process improvement. Michael Johnson, our IT director, was promoted to a senior director, and Mitch Evans now has was added the responsibility of human resources. So in Mitch's case, he was pretty involved in the school. Now that's moved off, he's now taken some responsibility for human resources. So I know there's a lot of changes here. I know those changes can be uncomfortable, right? A lot of us get worried when things start to change. I can tell you that some turnover within an organization is healthy. There's new ideas that get brought in by new people that come into the organization, new ways of doing things, new approaches. Those things are healthy for an organization, and I think we'll continue to get a little bit more comfortable with this as time goes on. So I know a lot of you may be a little unsettled by it, but I ask you, we're doing well as a company, which we'll get into, and I think we'll get more comfortable with some of this over time. Sound good, Al?
Right on.
All right, so on our mid-year performance, I'm going to touch on this a little bit because we'll get into more detail in logistics and trucking, but overall, through the first 6 months of the year, we have a consolidated operating ratio of 98.4. That's a little, it's not quite hitting the budget that we had. It's a little bit of a mixed result here with the truck line doing better actually at 98.5 versus our budget of 101.1. And logistics, a little bit of the opposite. They're lagging a little bit in their first 6 months. So it's a mixed story. But I think as you'll see, one of the things that we have as an advantage is the diversification that we have with the truck line and a logistics company. For the last couple of years, the logistics companies really shined and helped while the truck line was working through a lot of things within this market. Now that might be changing a little bit, but of course we're going to try to get them all firing together.
We will.
And we think we can. So that's a benefit to us. This diversified business has helped us, and I think it's going to continue to help us. But overall, positive operating results. We've got positive net income for the first 6 months of the year. So we're doing pretty well, and we'll come back to this a little bit more with our outlook for the rest of the year a little bit later. Right now, I'm going to bring Jesse in. He's going to go through HBL and what's going on there. Here we go.
Thanks, Jess. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you. Happy holidays, Al.
Happy holidays, Jesse.
Thank you. Happy holidays,
all
Hill
yours.
Brothers. I hope everyone had a nice Merry Christmas and is going to enjoy the Happy New Year as we look to reset and level up in 2026. So today I'll be going over our 6-month or our mid-year performance review, and then we'll touch a little bit more on where our focus is at in Q3 and Q4 as we wade ourselves away through this market. As Rob mentioned, there's a lot of unknowns out there, but I am highly confident in the team, the talent, and the tools that we have at our disposal to get through this and deliver positive performance to end the year. So with that, we'll jump into our mid-year review. So on the left side, the right side of the board, HBL Omaha is enjoying positive load count growth and activity at 15.5%. Our revenue growth is up over 10%. Where we're seeing it, it's costing a lot more to go into expanding markets. Costs are up, much like our truck lines. So we're having to pay more of these fleets or these new relationships to come into the market and do things, which has led to about 5.5% erosion in our gross market to dollars. And then that would carry through as well as to the 2% gross margin erosion in our percentage. And then lastly, the most challenging KPI here at Hill Brothers is our revenue per load. We're at $2,211, or roughly about $105 back. I wish it was as easy as, hey, Mr. Customer, can you please give us all the over-the-road or high-paying loads, but that's just not the state of freight. So we have Nick and our customer team looking at that, and I'm confident that that number will rebound. On the other side of the house, or our bulk division, it is, no surprise, again, our largest growing segment. So over the last 6 months, Tyler and the team has been able to grow at 36.6% on the load count or the activity and shipments, 23.4% on the revenue growth, and 9.5% on the gross margin. I'd just like to give a shout out to Travis Parker and Lalo for really driving those carrier relationships or that dedicated capacity that brokerage is kind of founded on. We wanted to get a relationship going with the customer, get 10 loads from Omaha to Chicago, and then place a respected and professional carrier in that. Once that was developed and good to go, then we would go and look for other opportunities out there with our customers' freight books. So kudos to them for really focusing on what matters in that relationship and having our carrier partners support us on that side of the house. As far as the gross margin, it's back about 1.9%, but Al, I think we'd take it in the dollars over the percentage anytime on the gross margin.
Absolutely.
And then much like the Omaha side of the house, the revenue per load's down roughly about $167. We are monitoring that and we'll continue to find new opportunities with our sales mavericks. And just as a kind of a disclaimer of the bullet points, these numbers are projected apples to apples. So this is the 6 months versus last year's 6 month start. So a lot of green up there. So thank you to the men and women, not only just at Hill Brothers Logistics, but Hill Brothers in general. The next piece wanted to jump into is, hey, where's kind of our focus as we transition into Q3 and Q4 with a lot of unknowables? Some of the things that we've started to see from our side is a lot of these regulations that Rob had mentioned with the non-domicile, the English proficiency, tariffs, and other things that are starting to come into our environment that might make it a little bit challenging for us to deliver in on that budget that we put in front of the board at the beginning of the fiscal year. But it's way too soon in the year to have the data sets or the KPIs to tell us kind of where we're at. So stay tuned on that one. So as far as the Omaha side of the house, I'm happy to announce that we did land our next Director of Capacity Procurement, and Paul Nowatarski. Paul comes from us from a larger brokerage perspective. He was with Echo Command and then moved over to Arrive Logistics. In the time that I spent with Paul, he has the savvy, the education, and can really coach and teach long founding carrier partnerships. And that's what we're going to need in this next evolution to scale to ultimately get to that $100 million brokerage that we all want here at Hill Brothers and Hill Brothers Logistics. Next, we've completed our TMW highway integration to help combat freight fraud. I know we're all aware of it. If our TMS system or TMW is 1A in our environment as most important technologies, then highway is right behind it with 1B. So we really needed 1A and 1B to talk so that we could put our talent in a position to make good decisions when trusting good or bad actors. It just makes our people more nimble to make the right decisions. Next, we'll be starting a relay project. This is a secured lumper payment integration system. So much like freight fraud on the cargo side, we are seeing an uptick in fraud on the carrier payment side. So what lumpers will do is will provide a secure environment for us to give our carrier partners lumper fees to deliver specifically to shippers and receivers. With EFSs, they could spend it everywhere. With lumper, they can only spend it at our shippers and receivers, giving us the comfort that the money is going to go where it needs to. Next, we've onboarded a new role on weekends to drive better communication support to our customers alike. You know, this is a 24/7 business. There's no way around it, but we do want to give our talent the ability to go home, enjoy their families, and regenerate. And we've got a highly educated and talented individuals stepping in there to support our customers and our carriers through the weekends. And then lastly, like we've talked about, the rate environment's just been challenging for the brokerage to start the year. But if this is what challenge look like and we're still positive in load activity and revenue, then things could be a lot worse, so to speak. Just jumping over to the other side of the house before I hand it back off to Rob. The ag market remains compressed as tariffs and non-farming profitability are playing large roles and less than available capacity and freight domestic movements. And so what that means is, as some of these regulations or some of these hard markets come into play, there's just less inventory to move from shack to shack because no one's buying it. So it stops our ability to grow. So we just need to find new customers with new opportunities. Next, Josh, Faith, and Tyler continue to find creative ways to onboard new bulk customers. We're up 34 new customers year over year. So that means they're not resting on their laurels or customer partnerships. They're finding out what is beyond that next call or that next freight movement. So kudos to Tyler, Faith, and Josh for being relentless, and never being satisfied. Travis and our capacity team are looking for ways to run dedicated trucks throughout our freight board, once again, like I highlighted. So just continuing to trust the right partners so that we can ensure that there are no service gaps from what our customers have come to expect from us here at HBL. And then lastly, on the bulk side, we need to continue to scale through bringing on talented individuals. That's just a more manual touch business. So for example, here in Omaha, for every 10 calls we take, we receive 8 of those inbound. On the bulk side, Al, it's completely different.
I know it.
Our team's reaching out to 8 carriers out of every 10 calls. If the phone rings in Lincoln, I think we all fall out of our chairs and get excited running for those phones. And so with that, we brought on 2 new talented individuals, Natea and Matt. Natea is our second ever CSR here at HBL Bulk, and Matt is actually replacing Matt in our settlement coordinator role. He's driven truck in the past, he knows trucking, and so we're excited for both of them to grow their stories. So with that, in closing, I just want to say thank you guys for the sacrifices that you make to work with us and to grow this business. We appreciate it from leadership, and we're looking forward to seeing what 2026 brings. So with that, I will turn it back over to Rob, Al.
Thank you, Jesse, and thank you for your team. Thank you for the reporting. And yeah, we're pretty upbeat about what's going on.
Bet.
All right, getting into the truck performance side, really exceeded expectations from our budget that we set at the beginning of the year that we reviewed really the last time we all were together. And that's a solid team effort. You know, everybody's involved in this. Just like in Jesse's team, everybody's pulling on the rope. We know in the truck line, it's the same thing. From our drivers all the way to everybody in this building and the shop, everybody's contributing here. And it starts with, you know, from a productivity standpoint, we're doing pretty well. Our miles are trailing the budget a little bit, but our line haul rate has really come up. And that's a big shout out to really our operations, our sales team. They've driven out 4.4% of our deadhead. That's what's driving a lot of that 6-cent increase in our line haul rate is just, what do you want to do, Al? You want to haul more stuff,
that is
right?
huge.
So be loaded more percentage of the time. And that's what we've done by engineering this network, working with our customers to find the freight that really fits within our network. So that's worked really well. In addition, we have 12 more drivers, so having more drivers definitely helps. Fewer unseated trucks, you know, all those efficiencies add up. We started really over the summer with a West Coast focus, sending, in addition to our long haul dray division that sends the containers to the port, we're now sending 53-foot customer freight out to California, anywhere from 6 to 10 a week. And that has really worked pretty well for us to supplement the business. So all those things are going and very positive. Our repair and maintenance team continues under Joe's new leadership in the shop to keep our trucks moving and keep our drivers seated. Cost-wise, that cost is up a little bit. We had a really good year. The first 6 months of last year, Al, 18 cents was our cost per mile. That's really unheard of for us. So right now we're not at 18 cents, but Joe's team's doing really well to keep these trucks moving. And we've got some good news on our CSA scores as well. So like I said, really a lot of contribution across the organization to drive these results. Operating ratio of 98.5 versus what we had expected was 101.1. So just a stellar effort, Al, all
Absolutely.
around.
Yes.
Looking forward, like what are the things that the team's working on right now and what we finished in Q2? I really want to, and this again gets to some of this shows our rocks for the quarter, the things we were really trying to focus on. And in Q2, I want to focus a little bit on this driver paperwork because again, this affected so many people. So many drivers out there contributed to improving this process. Cammie Bruner drove this process and it involved a lot of people in the organization and it's really gotten tremendously improved. And we really feel like we have a process here that we can keep working well going forward. So that was a big project. We also did some work with fleet ops to improve some customer reporting. And we actually looked at our fuel. Fuel is a big cost for us. So we benchmarked our fuel. We had some other vendors give us some bids over what they could do. Those bids actually weren't better than the deal that we currently have with our partner in Love's. So we are staying with Love's, but we did test that market because we're trying to look under any rock right now to try to see if there's some cost savings. So we were able to do that. In this current quarter, I talked earlier about some of this turnover. Really, we're focused a lot on rebuilding some teams. We need to hire an operations manager as Ryan Hill moves up into the role that he's moving into. The accounting team has some rebuilding to do. And we're really going to focus on some fundamentals, which is seating these trucks and having 0 trucks on the fence, right?
Right.
Getting that driver count to 205. We're pretty close, but we can do better with that. And we're going to move forward with Driver AX, which is going to be It's going to roll out to the drivers, and I think you're really going to like it. It's got some incentives involved in it, giving you some visibility to what you need as a driver to really increase your performance and increase your pay as well. So that's going to be worked on here in Q3 as well. So those are some of the things that are happening on the accounting side of the truck line side of the house. Anything else, Al?
Nope, you covered it.
Okay. So now we're going to roll into what do we think the whole year is going to do. So Jesse and his team did a reforecast for where they think they're going to end the year. The truck line group all got together, really went through what we see in the business for the second half of the year and what that means for the year. So this is what it's going to end up. We started the budget hoping we'd have a consolidated OR working towards 97. It's going to be 99.2 is what we think is how it's going to turn out. That's what we're all going to work towards in this pretty tough environment. So I think we shouldn't hang our heads at the fact that we had a pretty aggressive budget, particularly for Jesse and his logistics team. They really bit off a lot with an aggressive budget, but they're going to end. It's going to be a positive operating profit. We have very confident in that, and in this environment, we should all be proud of that. We've got a strong cash position. Al was just involved. We renew our line of credit every year about this time. Mm-hmm. You just inked that deal. We actually expanded that line so we have access to a little bit more cash if we were to need it. Right now we have nothing advanced on that line. We have a strong cash position. We're about to make a big plate payment for the year. Yep. And we've got plenty of cash to do that.
Yeah, we're in good shape.
So yeah, and the fundamentals of what we're doing and providing to our customers, it's not changing in the second half of the year. We're going to continue to take care of these customers. We're going to continue to try to work with them, get some price increases for us, and hopefully and work on delivering them some really good service on both sides of this house. So that's what our outlook is for the year: positive operating profit, and yeah, that's what we got, Al.
It's going to work out. Okay, I'm going to go over some of the safety update in buildings and equipment. But first of all, I want to talk about the accident frequency. So the DOT reportable accidents, the trend line is down, which is awesome. If you see the line as it's going downward. I just want to make sure everybody understands, though, some of the costs are going up because of the phantom trailer accidents where people are either hitting our trailer or customers are hitting our trailers. But we're seeing a rise in that, so we're putting plans together to make sure we can recoup those costs. It's not easy, because if it's not on film, it's hard to recover. But anyway, the reportables are definitely down, which is an excellent job to the safety group, the operations team.
And all of our drivers, right?
And the drivers.
Yeah,
absolutely,
the drivers out there.
So the CSA scores, we're still green, which we're in great shape. You can see that. Our total IS score is 39. For 2 years now, we've been in the green. A lot of improvement. The hours of service compliance has dropped, as you can see, and from 31 to 28. Everything else is pretty steady. And the customers actually have access to some of this information, so it makes us look really good on the limelight on safety. So with that being said, thank you for everyone, operations drivers.
And all the drivers out there that are taking care of our equipment, taking care of your logbooks, all those things. Help us sell, help us all do what we do.
It really makes a difference, so thank you. As far as new equipment, so we got some new day cabs to support the Skinner shuttle business. We bought 5 excellently clean, good reefers this year. The reefer trailers are extremely expensive. So right now on new trailers with new Thermo King units, they're touching almost $98,000. So we're going to take a look at what we're going to do here this coming year, but nothing is on order yet until we see these prices drop a little bit.
Well, and that's what we did there, right? We bought 5. We talk about, companies and what's changing in this market. Sometimes these companies, they scale back, they go out of business, that puts equipment out there in the market. We picked those up on an auction,
right,
and got kind of a nice deal on a 2-year-old piece of equipment. So we keep our eyes open for more of those kind of things. as time goes on. But we're trying to take advantage of some of these things when
You
we
bet.
can.
We'll let you know on what our plans are on the further procurement of equipment.
Well,
But,
in 26, I mean, we're continuing on our replacement cycle for our sleepers. So there'll be about 30 plus sleepers that we'll replace over calendar 2026, over that 12 months. We've got some old vans that we'd like to replace. That's going to be a little contingent on how all things turn out. That'll be in the second half of the year. As long as things perform like we think, I think we can make an investment. But right now, given the tough conditions we're in, we're not spending a lot
Right.
unless we have to on our trailers, because for the most part, they're doing fairly well.
and the good news is we got a lot of paid off trailers, so that really helps out
Yeah.
tremendously on
Yeah.
the cash.
But $7 million we might invest. $4.5 million we invested last year. So we're definitely reinvesting back to keep this thing going. And that's another thing that I want you to realize, such a positive thing. There's other carriers right now that are struggling, that are not replacing their equipment. We hear this a lot, that they're not staying on those replacement cycles. That's going to drive their costs up in the future, and we're positioned to avoid that. So
Right.
this investment is important. So.
Okay, the truck driving championships back to back. We got to congratulate, and everybody needs to congratulate Carolina Gallegos. She is amazing what she's done. Made it to the national finals, but she won the Nebraska 5-axle class, I believe. And I went out there. I think Raul was out there at the time.
I was out there.
You were out there. David Standring was out there. Dan Holman was out there.
And the back-to-back is David won it the year before.
Yeah,
right?
that's
He was a
right.
champion. So Hill
Right.
Brothers has back-to-back champions, which pretty rare and something that we're really proud of. And the team this year, Carolina, David, Danny Holman, and they really do work as a team. They train together,
Yep.
they practice together, they support each other. So great job by that team. All of you could reach out, all of you drivers out there, if you're interested in this, we would love to send as many people as we
Right.
can to this. It happens in the summertime in June out in Grand Island. If you want more information on it, certainly reach out to Randy and our safety group. They can give you some more information, but we would love to. We've sent bigger teams than this in the past, and we'd love to.
Absolutely. All right, this is the fun thing I like to do as far as announcing the Million Milers. Gary Wynn. Gary, thank you for all your time here. This is amazing. A 2 million mile accident-free category. Gary, Jerry, Robert, Tim, Don, Michael Greer, Rhonda Hatch, Aaron Talman, Farron Tucker, Roy Tumble, Mike Waters, Darden Weinbrett, Xavier O'Conan, Dan Holman, Darnell Jackson, Robert Pauly, David Standring, and Dan Suggs. Guys, 1 million miles is a lot. So thank you for doing that. And then with that being said, Rob's going to talk about the Hill Brothers Way Awards.
Yeah,
It's all yours.
Yeah, each year we go through a process at the end of the year to nominate. We ask all of our employees to nominate people that they feel are really going above and beyond to support Hill Brothers, to really live our values. And this year, 26 people have been approved and won this Hill Bros Way Award. On the right side over there are drivers that have won. So on the driver's side of the house, there's Carolina again. Carolina Gallegos is up there. Heather St. Dennis, Norman Seeger, Edgar Calderon, Darnell Jackson, Devon Williams, Lyle, Dale Eldridge, Moses Lowley, Ramesh Gurung, and Chris Miller. So 10 drivers that, and I put some of these, in here, some of the things that were said. Adaptable, will fetch and fly, does whatever is needed to get the job done for his division. Devon is cited as, hey, he's a we not me guy, handling whatever it takes. So these are the comments people have made about some of these drivers. So congratulations to you. They're going to be, all the drivers will be invited to the holiday party that's happening on Saturday here in town on January 3rd. That's when they'll be presented with some certificates, and everybody here will get an award pay of $60 coming their way. So, so here in the office and the shop, we've got 16 winners here. Starting out in accounting, Nikki Jacobson. Our HBL bulk team, Nikki Thomas. In logistics, Richard Pettit and Sarah Talbitzer. Our human resources group, Nathan Kuipers. Under our marketing team, Haley Steuben, Evan Newman, Haley Kildare, and Kristen Tomkak. All those folks operate under our new Skinner business, which has been a great addition to our businesses and really helped our truck line to deliver the performance that they have. So those folks have really helped get that started, and they're doing some exceptional things. So we appreciate all of them. Further on the ops team, Charles Milner, Michelle Haggy, Paul Langenegger, and then in recruiting, Rachel Powles, safety, Karen Smith, shop. Over on our shop, we've got Dylan Holzapple and Eric Perez rounding out this group of tremendous individuals that we wish to congratulate, first of all, and also to thank you for going above and beyond, for taking your work so seriously and making sacrifices. It's not easy to work in this business. We know that there's sacrifices that sometimes need to be made. We appreciate it very much. So congratulations to all of you.
All right, the longevity awards. Holy moly, look at this. Robert Colefall, 26 years. Robert, I've known you for a long time. Thank you so much for being here. Gary Wynn, not enough said about you, Gary. You're a fabulous person. Thank you for 24 years of service.
Yep.
The next page, we've got 10 to 14 years. We got Paul Brooks, Keith Marshall, Gary Gray, JP Carbonez, Emery Kropp, David Ronetsky, Royce Tumbel, Shannon Gravitt, Lynn Thomas, Rhonda Hatch, Angel Harris, and Jacob Lundholm. That's amazing. 10 to 14 years. Angela.
Yeah, she's going to call you.
Where is Angela? Oh, she always calls me. Angela, congratulations.
Now, great group here. Congratulations, everybody.
Michael Waters. Michael, enough said about you. You're a friend, a good worker, and we appreciate everything what you've done here. David Standring, without a doubt, been here a long time. We appreciate you. Donald Doreau and Michael Greer, the General, we love you. Thank you for being here for this long. And then on the awards in the shop, we got the certificates coming out for both the office and the shop. So Dennis Sims, 24 years. Nikki Jacobson, 23. Cami Chavez, 23. Bob Sparks, 20. Deb Fury, 20 years. Uban, 18 years. Karen Smith, 18 years. Nick Hill, Ryan Hill, both 17 years. And Ellie Heron, 17 years. I remember when you kids, Nick and Ryan, you guys were cleaning out trucks when you were 16 years old, practically. And some more certificates. Michael Johnson, Michael, thank you, 14 years. Scott Hill, 13 years. Chris Morris, 12. Randy, 11 years. Gil Franks, 11 years. Thank you, guys. Yeah. And with that said, I know we kind of ran a little long, but the floor is yours, Rob.
Yeah, on the holiday side, so for our holiday gifts on the driver's side, well, the drivers and staff, everybody, the Hill Brothers gave a 60-day holiday gift pay. It's $60 to make sure that you at least get $50 to spend on your family. So that should have been deposited back on Christmas Eve. So everybody gets that. On the driver's side, they also get additional gifts, a rechargeable flashlight that's there in the middle, and some heated gloves that are there on the far left. So if you haven't gotten these already, they're available at the dispatch window. On the staff side, they got their holiday pay, and then they have the Christmas party. That's happening on January 3rd. Now, we don't invite all the drivers to the Christmas party. Not all the drivers are here locally. That's why we've gone to this, where we give the drivers some additional gifts, and then the staff have the party. So I know it's not ideal for everybody, but we try to be at least equitable financially with what's happening here. And overall, we just want to thank all of you.
Absolutely.
For everything that you give to this company throughout the year. We want you to have a good holiday. We're hoping that you all did, and we're hoping that some of this will help make your holidays and 2026 a little bit brighter, right, with a flashlight?
2026 is going to be better. I'm telling you right now. I feel it. I feel the rates are going to go up. So I'm very, very upbeat, guys. And with that being said, Happy New Year. Thank you, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Yep. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate you.
And thank you, Rob and Jesse.